Hello, G1s, and welcome to episode 12 of the G1 Features podcast. Your regularly scheduled program that right now isn't so regularly scheduled, mostly because there's been a slight delay, mostly because we both are very busy people, but that doesn't matter. I'm right here, right now. I'm here talking to you, person that probably maybe is listening, and definitely not someone I'm looking at right now. Anyway, my name is Madhero, and as always, I am joined by Gear. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's nice to hear. Just
Definitely.
nothing going on, or just everything's
No,
relaxed.
I went out of town for a couple days last week. That's why there wasn't an episode. And, I took some time for myself, relaxed, chilled out for a bit. So
That's
now
always good.
I'm back and I'm energized and I'm recording another podcast with you.
Yeah,
And
it's always nice when sometimes you just have to take a bit, slow down a bit, and then when you're back, you're actually itching to get back to work again and do stuff.
definitely.
Like sometimes you just need that rest a bit. Sometimes it can last a bit too long. You're just like, okay, I really want to get off my butt now, but just always. Anyway, we're just rambling and doing stuff. Anything specific happened to you besides the 3-day trip? Played anything during those days, or?
I played some Bravely Default, but I already talked about that. I got back into Pokemon Sapphire for a bit, finally got
Oh,
around to beating Watson.
Alpha Sapphire or just
Alpha
regular?
Sapphire, yes, Alpha
Okay.
Sapphire. I finally got around to beating Watson. Uh,
Yeah, like I've been in a big Pokemon mood for the past few days, and that's maybe because the anniversary is going on, and I'm working on the Pokemon project for G1 Features.
which
But
the deadline for joining that is passed now, right?
it's past now. We're busy. I'm busy getting people's responses, and it's so far going pretty well.
That's good to
But
hear.
yeah, but basically, yeah, I've been in a big mood for Pokemon, just because like it's a franchise that has meant so much to me, and I've said this countless and countless of times. But yeah, I'm just happy. I'm really just looking forward to playing those old games again, even though you can probably just get them on an emulator. But for the rest, yeah, I haven't really gone and played the games myself yet. But I just did recently get a Mew code.
Ah, yes, I got one of those too.
Yeah, it's funny because the like Mew is like level 100, but it only knows Pound. And to be fair, it can learn every TM out in the game, but it's still just kind of like really, it only knows Pound.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of the point that it does know every TM, which, like, it makes sense both in storyline and I
Both in
guess,
lore.
and to make up for the fact that its stats are like consistently okay, but not spectacular. Like you'd never see someone using Mew in the pro circuit?
Yeah, like I'm not sure how like Smogon, of course, isn't the be all end all of what the Pokemon.
I mean, it kind of is though,
Eh, I
which
see some people going like, yeah, no, it's
I
but
mean, you can say that Smogon is just like they're a bunch of pedantic pricks and stuff. Wow, it's actually in the overused tier.
well, that's what you get with a legendary that has 100 stat in pretty much everything and can learn any move in the game.
I mean, 100 is really not all that good.
It doesn't specialize in anything, but it is still, it's still fairly useful. But
Yeah.
any particular reason why you haven't finished Alpha Sapphire yet? Because it's been a while since it's been out.
Yeah, I just well, I didn't buy it until like ages after it came out, and B, it's just like I started playing it for a while, and then I got really busy, and then I got I think The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, which I'm almost done with. Like I recently finished the yeah, I recently finished Turtle Rock, which is the last dungeon I had to do, so now it's just Dark Hyrule Castle or Dark Lorule Castle, sorry,
Yeah.
or whatever it's called. And then I'm done with that game. So, I just didn't really play it for a while. I was doing other things.
Yeah. Okay, but it's just fun. Like I can understand that, just sort of like the whole busy thing. But it's funny to me because, like, I know you love the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire generation.
I do, but it's like on the other hand, I've already played that generation twice. Like I
Fair
played
enough.
Sapphire all the way through, and then I played Ruby all the way through as well. Um, and also Pokemon X is such a fantastic game that
Yeah.
Alpha Sapphire kind of feels like a step backwards.
It that kind of happens when you're doing the inevitable remake, because we're pretty much expected to have those, because we got Fire Red, we got Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and now we got Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and who knows how long it'll take before we get Diamond and Pearl remakes.
I mean, here's the thing, like I I didn't really enjoy the Heart Gold Soul Silver either, partially because I don't really like Gen 2 all that much to begin with.
Heresy.
I'm a Gen 3 guy, you know?
Okay, that's totally fine. I am definitely in that Gen 2 camp, but and I really like Soul Silver. I thought that was an excellent version, but I can't deny that, like, Silver holds the nostalgia factor for me, even though games like Soul Silver and Heart Gold are objectively superior. And then Pokemon X and Y are so good.
They really are.
But
I think the one Pokemon game that I got the least far, because I got like decently far into Heart Gold. I think I got 7 gyms in.
yeah,
You know, I didn't beat the Dragon Gym leader or the Elite Four, but the game I definitely got the least far in is Black 2.
same. I could not get into Black and White 2. I think that is the only Pokemon game that I haven't beat.
Like
Only be
I enjoyed White because I had White and then I got Black 2.
Yeah.
Like White, I enjoyed that enough. You know, I think I liked it
Yeah.
more than most people, but I realized that it's just like I liked Diamond better.
Yeah.
And for some reason, a lot of people really don't like Gen 4, which is a pity, I think, because I really like Diamond, like, still.
Yeah. Same as well. I love the Diamond and Pearl generation, especially the much of the additional evolutions we got for some of the other Pokemon like Magmar, Electabuzz, and that kind of stuff. It felt like a big expansion to everything, similar to how Johto felt when it added pre-evolutions to a lot of those games.
That's true.
But yeah, Black and White was very much sort of a soft reboot, like 150 new Pokemon that you could only and no, you couldn't find any of the newer Pokemons in the regions until Black and White 2, or until the end game of Black and White. But a lot of Pokemon felt really uninspired, and also like the same as many other Pokemon, like sort of like Trubbish and Garbodor being pretty much Grimer and Muck again. There's Alomola, who's very much like Love Disc.
Which I was genuinely, like, I'm still kind of blown away that that isn't just an evolved Love Disc. Kind of like how, oh, what is it? There's that one that might as well be an evolution of Taurus, but isn't.
Oh, but the one with the Afro,
Yeah,
Bouffalant, I believe.
Bouffalant, yeah, it's just like, why isn't that an evolution of Taurus? Like,
It just feels
seriously.
so much like a lazy reboot, and then like Black and White certainly tried with the more of the story until it backed. And I feel that's what's kind of read me out of Black and White too, is that it was very, for a Pokemon game, it was very story heavy, and the story wasn't very good.
I mean, I like that it tried to do something with the story. I appreciated that, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess just playing the game in like playing what felt like the same game in the same world with the same characters. It's kind of cool to get that sense of continuity, but on the other hand, it's just like at this point, this was like the fourth Pokemon game on DS. You know,
Yeah.
not counting Platinum.
Uh,
You know, you had Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Then you had the Gen 2 remakes. Then you had Black and White 1, and then you had Black and White 2. And at that point, I was just getting really tired of like these 2D sprites in the 3D world.
it didn't help that like Black and White 2 released, I think, when the 3DS was already out. I
Yeah,
think
I
it was.
played it on my 3DS and it looked butt ugly
Yeah.
because for some reason the 3DS just doesn't do it quite well. Um, which is a pity because I kind of wanted to like that game more than I actually did.
Yeah.
But then I was really happy when Pokemon X came out just because it felt so like it felt a little bit more fresh, you know?
Feels very fresh.
Like I still go back to like Pokemon X is still like my main Pokemon game just cuz I think A that's where I have my best team and B I just love being in that world.
Yeah,
It's
Gallus is
so
Zircon.
gorgeous.
I think also the fact like, and this is also something that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire do really well, largely because they copy it from X and Y. But it has the best online of any Pokemon game, and that's it's on superior hardware, so that's maybe unfair towards Diamond and Black and White. But it's just like the online is really robust and really well done.
And I really like the character customization, which I will bring up every time because they removed it for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I don't understand why they would do that.
I think it was because it's a remake, but I do hope that they change it back for.
Oh, I loved it so much.
It was so cool. It made everyone like give their own identity, and I hope they bring it back for what seems to be that we're getting a Gen 7 soon. Do you want like since we're in this Pokemon talk right now? Do you want to get into that now? Like do that new story a little early, or
Sure. I mean,
okay?
we can segue over to news.
Well, we still have some so like I have some games that I've played that I want to discuss.
Okay, well, let's
But
talk about this news story first, and then
yeah,
we'll get.
basically Koro, which is like the main info dump for Pokemon when it's like I think Koro is like a children's magazine, but they pretty much always release like new Pokemon info. They officially released Mega Evolution there. They officially released stuff like the Mewtwo. Um, Basically, they're a big deal, and every time there's a new Koro, there's always probably going to be some new information of Pokemon. And similarly, that's now today with a new Pokemon being revealed for I believe, like the 18th movie now,
Wow.
Magiana. And more interestingly, compared to, for example, Diancie, Hoopa, and Volcanion, three Pokemon that we knew about for quite some time, and Volcanion is only now officially revealed as well. But this is a completely new Pokemon, one that isn't in X and Y or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So this is very likely the first 7th gen Pokemon that we see.
It's definitely possible, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's some info revealed, like it's man-made, it's somewhat metallic, so we can assume that it's a steel type. It looks very like that its combination is steel fairy from the
Which
looks
is
of it,
a combination that already exists, I think, in Klefki.
and it also exists with Mawile. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, true. I keep thinking Mawile is dark type for some reason. Probably
yeah,
because it learns Bite.
yeah. But that is happening right now, and obviously there's still very little to actually go on other than the new movie is gonna have it, and it's that like a very big deal there. But yeah, it looks like we might get a lot of info about the 7th gen Pokemon this year, which also makes sense because 20th anniversary and all that, and that a Pokemon generation usually lasts to 3 to 4 years. So yeah, new Pokemon. There's not a lot to say right now, other than I'm not like the design is very Diancie esque,
Definitely, yeah.
so it's
So
like
there
probably a
might be a connection in the storyline
yeah,
of some kind, but we'll have to wait and see because right now all we have is like a photograph of a picture in a magazine. So
exactly. Moving on then, not to more news, but the stuff that I've played because I did some stuff too. I played some fairly recent stuff actually today.
oh
Well,
yes, of
for the
course you
past
did.
few weeks. Where do you want to start with? Because I have two games that
Uh, let's start with Unravel, I guess.
okay, yes, I've been playing a bit of Unravel recently. I haven't played a whole lot of it yet, but everyone was sort of on board with Unravel as soon as it was revealed at EA's E3 press conference, if only because they very much pitied the dev who was there. who looked so nervous being on that stage, revealing something that was obviously a very personal game for him. And yeah, so I bought it fairly soon after it came out, and yeah, I've played about 2 hours of it. I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
I've seen it described as like it's charming
It is very charming. I'll
as
give it
much as I
that.
dislike that word to describe games. Mostly because Grow Home kind of ruined it for me. But like nothing particularly interesting about it, like that it's just like a platformer. It's a really sort of okay-ish puzzle platformer with a
It's very
great
much
art
reminded me
style.
of its platforming. Very much reminds me of Limbo
It's
in a
like
sense.
Limbo without all the interesting and clever puzzles, right?
I
That's
wouldn't go
what
that far.
I'm going off the Jim Sterling review here.
Yeah, he was pretty negative on it compared to most of the people I saw. But yeah, like there is the puzzle elements to it, which sometimes can be a little simple. A lot of it has to do with, of course, the yarn elements of it all, where you have to connect certain dots, you have to throw your yarn like a lasso and all that kind. I think it's interesting personally. I think it's a fun little addition. It's not special, I would say. Like it's not so fun. It doesn't make you go, "This is genius. This is that." Or my. It's just it does its job very well, and I do like. I just really like the look of it, and I really enjoy like Yarny's animations are so adorable and just so they're so expression. They give out so much expression through very little movement, and it really makes you care for this little character who doesn't really speak or anything.
Kind of like a Yarny, not a a Wally situation.
It's very well, yeah, very much so. Only this time in the Swedish, not per se wilderness, like sort of fields and forests and that stuff. And it looks very beautiful. I'm not sure what kind of engine it uses, but it uses it very well.
That's a good question, actually,
And then,
because it definitely looks gorgeous.
yeah,
Let's see, what engine does it use? The
and it's
Fire engine.
okay. I've not heard of that previously. Fire, which has
Oh yeah, this. Oh, we talked about this. That it's been used to make some really good games and also some really terrible ones.
oh, okay, yeah,
Like that
Got-
game company uses it for all their games, like Flow, Flower, and Journey. But
yeah,
then it's also been used for like Amy
yeah,
and the at and that one RPG that no one can pronounce.
yeah. It's
Artonaliko Kogad Nell of RCL.
nailed it. It's kind of like Unity, how it's being used for both stuff like Ukulele and all of Digital Homicide's games. There's that contrast there to people who use it well and just
Yeah,
uh,
the Unreal Development Kit has been used to make good and bad games. Like you've got Tower of Guns, which is a game that I really like and is done with Unreal. So
yeah, it all just But yeah, so far I can't really say anything a whole lot about it yet, but I am enjoying it for what it is. And if you enjoy a good puzzle platformer, you might look at Unravel. The second game I'm playing is a little different. Actually, it's quite different, and that's Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
oh yeah, I read I think Destructoid that reviewed it and gave it like a pretty decent score. That it was just like it's slightly less childish. I think.
Yes, it's much more meant for the people who I believe either newcomers, like more, or people who have grown up with Digimon, and that's very weird to say, but it's definitely meant for a more older audience. It's not M for mature, it's like T for teen. It's going for that Persona crowd, pretty
Okay,
much.
that's nice.
And it's definitely more Persona than Pokemon so far, and it's has its own little identity with how it's sort of like going through the digital world and all that stuff. This time called Eden, but yeah, for what it is, I've been playing it on the Vita, which is what it was originally released for. Like there was the PS4 version, which is slightly upgraded, I believe. But yeah, it's good. I like it so far. I like it so far. It's a bit. I don't know, the story's a bit hard getting into right now. I'm just not really feeling it. Like, there's this big mystery with some corporation who runs like the big virtual reality internet thing called Eden, which is also messing up a lot of people. Like the whole digital monsters stuff that is going on. But maybe it's because I'm fairly early into the game as well, story wise. I've been mostly like what I will give it credit for is that the process of getting new Digimon is very satisfying.
That's good.
In this because you don't necessarily use like Pokeballs to go and catch them. You have to encounter them multiple times in order to be able to scan them and get your own Digimon version of that Digimon.
Okay.
But then you can train it and it can digivolve into multiple versions.
Oh,
And
sweet.
so it's not like for example, you get a Koromon, and Koromon is usually known for getting Agumon, who's like, the mascot. But
Okay.
he can also evolve into Guilmon, which is also a big which is also a pretty big, well-known Digimon.
Can you get a
And
Vmon?
I got XVmon, but basically, yeah, you can get a if you like. There's so many different combinations possible that you can pretty much get a ton of Digimon using just pretty much the Pidgeys and Rattatas you usually encounter in Pokemon,
Ah,
and it's actually done. I like that aspect of it. I've been mostly just grinding other Digimon in order to get the different kind of evolutions of stuff that I want, rather than just going through the main story. And I feel like if it makes you want to grind, then it does something well, and not just like forces you. You want to.
that's definitely that's definitely good because like
Grinding sucks. Let's
grinding
just
sucks. Yeah.
yeah.
Like grinding is something that you have to do a lot of
Classic
in
RPGs.
come on, what's it called? Bravely Default. Like I do a lot of grinding in that game because it is not an easy game, mostly just because the boss fights in it are super annoying and way too long. Um, and it's good that this game makes you want to grind instead of makes you feel like you have to,
Yeah,
because that's not easy to do. So that's definitely a good point in its favor.
yeah. I'm going. It's definitely in its favor that it's a Vita game, so that it's easy to pick up and play, and it doesn't do the Final Fantasy thing where you have to find like tents to save or certain save spots. You can just save whenever you want. And with the Vita's large battery, like the Vita Slim at least, its battery is amazing. It can run really, really well. But yeah, I will say that so far, like it's not amazing, but I am having a lot of fun with Cyber Sleuth. I think that if you're a fan, or if you're curious about Digimon, or just want a good, decent JRPG, that though though right now you're pretty stacked with choices.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm getting a game like that very soon. That's probably not going to be brilliant, but just a lot of fun, and that's finally the new Earth Defense Force is coming out.
Yeah, that's it.
Here, that's coming out tomorrow, and I have ordered it already, so it should be here tomorrow, and I'm very excited for it because I've only been waiting for it for like 2 years. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, how big of a Digimon kid were you, or are you, or not at all?
I didn't. I was never really that much into Digimon. Like I watched I think season 2.
The Adventure Zero Two then, or
Yeah, I've seen like I've seen I don't think I've ever seen a complete season. I've seen like stuff here and there. Like I saw a lot of the season what had the black gears in it.
yeah, that's season. Oh, Black Ears. That was season one. That was like one of the first story arcs they ever did.
Okay, that's something.
And then there's
I saw a bunch of the one that had Vmon.
that's season two.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like season 3.
No, okay.
What happened in season 3 then?
Season three is pretty much a complete reboot. It's very meta in the sense that basically in that universe,
Oh,
The
right, the
first two
events of
seasons are a
season one.
show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I ever watched that, but I know about that. And I never watched it, but I know there's one where they, like, turn into Digimon as well.
Yeah, that's season 4.
Digimon Tamers or Trainers or something?
Tamers is 3, Frontier is 4.
Frontier. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like one and two, I have nostalgia for, mostly because that's the one that we saw in the Netherlands, and we never really got the rest of them. So when it's possible to watch them on YouTube, I watch them there. One I still really like, even though it has a big case of '90s dub.
Was it for kids?
It was not for kids.
Oh,
They did
thank goodness.
actually tackle some pretty mature themes in it. It was there's just some stuff in there where you go, oh '90s.
Like for kids, I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX recently,
Yeah,
and wow, for kids has like I'm. Why did people ever give them
money.
rights to translate? Because they are just the worst.
Yeah, it is pretty bad, but they aren't really in the license. They're more like they're for licensing now. So there's something. I'm not really sure what's going on, but oh yeah, we'll see. But yeah, season 2 is not good. Season 2 is just There's great moments in season 2, but like it suffers from just not particularly well thought out or developed characters. Besides one character was like the sixth ranger in that sense,
Ah,
and he is done really well, and some other moments are really good.
that's
But
good.
the season 2 itself is just not that great,
That's a
and it
pity.
and exact kind of the reason why it's now like Digimon Try, which is like the movie thing, is pretty much sort of how do you say it? Not necessarily removing it from canon, but sort of rewriting a bunch of
It's
stuff.
retconning it.
Retconning. That was the word I said. Season 3 is great. Season 3 is easily the best. Season 4 is okay for what. Season 4 is good for what it is. It's very interesting in the sense of, okay, this is very very weird. So it takes some getting into. It's very like it's more power. It's almost more Power Rangers than it is Digimon. And
Okay,
it,
that's interesting.
and season 5, don't watch the dub. The dub got very for kids, and I think that's more the fact that it was on Disney.
Oh no.
Yeah, and but the actual thing itself is really good and more meant for the more mature fans. And I have not seen Fusion, so I can't really comment on that. So yeah, that's your Digimon no anime know-how if you're ever interested.
Neat.
I mean, I don't know if you have the time for it, but anyway, we've been rambling about Pokemon and Digimon and all that good stuff. But let's, go to the news maybe and sort of leave that all behind.
Let's. I mean, we already covered one of the news stories, and that was, well, about Pokemon, so that does
Yeah.
kind of make sense.
Okay, we're gonna do the same thing that we did last time, which is I'm gonna list the news topics, and then you get to decide what we talk about. So,
Go for it.
okay, game trailers, Titanfall, Sonic, and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
All right, let's cover the Tasmanian Tiger first, just because that's really short
Yeah,
and just ridiculous. Because okay, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is a series that I have some degree of fondness for. I never played I only ever played the handheld versions, so I know them as mostly as 2D platformers, but I know they existed on consoles as 3D platformers as well.
yeah,
The first one from like I don't remember what year it's from. I want to say 2002 because it's a PS2 game.
yeah. It's 2002.
Is coming to Steam Early Access.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
Like, okay, Turok from 1997 came to Steam in Good Old Games. It was like slightly redone. Like they might have improved the textures a bit, and they let you alter the draw distance. And I think that's all the changes they made. And I think like yeah, no mouse and keyboard input, the normal stuff you have to do for a PC port. But that was released as a full release, admittedly for €20, which is like way too much. But yeah, but Ty the Tasmanian Tiger coming to early access? Like I feel like just like wait till you're done with it and then just release it as a full game. That
Yeah, it's
makes
weird,
much
especially
more
since
sense.
it's a game from 2002.
Oh yeah,
So,
see.
like, I'm not sure what the porting job they need to do in order to get it to work or what extra features are there. But it just seems odd that it's going to early access. Okay, I think that about covers it for
Yeah,
the.
like why early at just why?
Yeah. Okay. Uh, again, now game trailers, Titanfall, Sonic, and I think that's it because we already covered Pokemon.
Yeah, let's do Sonic next
Okay,
because
there's a Sonic movie coming.
that's very exciting
Yeah.
for some people, myself not included.
Uh, basically, we already kind of knew about this movie back in the summer of 2014.
Oh yeah, you talked about it on Scroovies, and
Yeah,
you were
episode 7. In
you are
context, we're on episode 49 now.
you are now very proud of like we called it.
Yeah, well, the Hollywood Report technically called it, but yes, we already talked about it, and now it's back in the news again because Sega Sammy's Holdings president has talked about it. Yes, there is going to be the Sonic and Hedgehog movie. We're doing it with Sony. It's live action slash CG, and it's planning to come in 2018. And that's about all we know. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog movie that is live action CG. Yay!
Why? I was gonna say like, why would you do this? It's just like, well, money. That much is pretty obvious,
The
It's
whole interview pretty much reads like, "Oh, we're not particularly interested in video games, more so in the licensing of our characters."
oh, that's
But
on the one hand, that might mean that it's just like they might try to do something interesting with it, because like the Sonic Boom TV show. Bear with me on this. From what I've seen, and I've seen a couple episodes, it's actually really funny.
okay, I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but I've heard a lot. I've heard good things about the show.
It's got like surprisingly good jokes in it, and which is weird considering it's associated with like the worst Sonic game,
Yeah,
like literally the worst. So like, okay, it's not quite Sonic 06 levels bad because at least they patched it.
Sonic 06 has had ambition. Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric did not really have that ambition, or at least it
But at
didn't.
least it's functional now.
Yeah,
It wasn't when it came out, but it is now, I think, maybe. Probably. I think they fixed the Knuckles jump glitch,
yeah,
which
that's true.
made it more fun, so that's kinda lame.
Yeah,
But yeah. So they might do something interesting with it along the lines of the Sonic Boom TV show. I don't have a lot of faith in it, mostly just because A, I'm not a big Sonic fan, and B, I don't think I don't think even Sega themselves knows what to do with Sonic nowadays. So
well, they gave the Twitter account. Look, at least we always have the Twitter accounts.
yeah, the lovely,
Speaking
lovely,
of which,
weird
there's
Twitter
this
account.
current uh,
Oh
conspiracy
no, come
afoot.
on.
Yes, we're gonna have to talk about it a little bit, if only. Did you? It's so out there, but it's it's something interesting. Basically, the Sonic Twitter account tweeted a very vague uh, sort of good luck tweet to Madeon, who's doing like a world tour thing, and Madeon is like this French DJ. But the big thing about his album is that he basically he uses his own alphabet sort of thing. I'm not sure. Like I'm basically just reading the Destructoid article to make some sense of it, but it's just it all just seems like fun and games, making fun of it. But then and also the fact that the album is called Adventure, as in Sonic Adventure.
Dun,
But
dun,
what's interesting here
dun.
is that in the alphabet, there's also a text in there, which sounds like a bunch of gibberish. And then there's stuff with like, and it's all done from the Reddit post that it could potentially lead to the Sonic Twitter account teasing the possibility of a Sonic Adventure 3. That's the ultimate kind of, that they're announcing it on April Fools because of an Ego Raptor tweet as well. But
Yeah, there's just like
it's a lot. It's a big stretch.
I think it's mostly just an elaborate joke because I refuse to believe that they're actually setting up this much effort to tease the potential release of Sonic Adventure 3.
Yeah.
Like I have been wrong about many things. I'll go on record as saying I have been wrong about a great many things. I was wrong about Aliens Colonial Marines. I was wrong about Remember Me. I was wrong about um come on, what's it called? That one zombie game which doesn't help at all.
That one zombie game. You're
Yeah,
gonna have to be a little more specific than that.
the one that had like wrestling moves. Oh god.
I'm thinking of Lollipop Chainsaw now, but
No. It's one that people actually really like. It's Dead.
Never Dead.
No. People hated Never Dead sucks.
I know, but you were wrong. That you were wrong. Like, hey, maybe it's gonna be good.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of Never Dead as well. So I was really wrong about that one, but like in retrospect, I mean Konami. So
Yeah.
um, God, this is gonna bother me now.
Yeah. Zombie game, wrestling moves.
Oh, Jesus. Why? It's not Dead Island. It's anyway. I this was way back when we were doing the previews,
Okay.
and it's just like we were previewing a game, and I'm like, this game looks like a load of shit, and
Yeah.
then I wrote a blog to go along with it, and it turned out that everyone ended up really liking that game, and I was just like, and I was talking about State of Decay. That was it. It was State of Decay.
Oh, okay.
State of Decay, yeah. I was basically saying that, it doesn't look like a good horror game, it doesn't look like a good zombie game, it's probably going to be a load of shit. And then it came out and it reviewed really well and people loved it. And so, point is, I've been wrong about a lot of things. I refuse to believe that Sonic Adventure 3 is actually a thing that's being teased like this. I think Sega will probably, if Sonic Adventure 3 ever happens, will probably just announce it normally. It's just like, hey, look, that will probably be like one of the big if it ever happens. They'll probably make like a big deal out of it at like E3 or something.
Oh,
Um,
just imagine if they announced Sonic Adventure 3 on E3. That'd be like Final Fantasies. Nah, not Final Fantasy 7 levels or the Shenmue 3 thing. But it'd definitely be up there, like sort of like, holy shit, it's actually happening.
yeah,
Even though Sonic hasn't been good since 2010, 11, with Sonic Generations.
yeah, it's had like two good games since the Super Nintendo, since the Sega Genesis days.
I wouldn't go that far, but like, let's not move around the fact that Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 have aged really poorly.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
kind of cool to hate them now, but I do have a lot of nostalgia for Sonic Adventure 2. Not so much Adventure, but definitely Adventure 2.
I mean, I've
Uh,
played. What was it? The one that you have? Like I
Sonic Heroes?
no, on Dreamcast.
That was Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, I played that. It was terrible.
Yeah, but
Doesn't help
for
that your controller was like broken,
well,
basically.
the Dreamcast controller has a lot of shit.
Yeah.
The console itself is great, but the thing with like I have Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes is a lot of fun, but it's been ages since I last played it, and every time I look at it, like Completionist recently did a playthrough of it, and I just kind of I'm remembering some bad stuff about it now. That
I
they're
like the
shouting.
soundtrack.
Yeah, Crush. Someone made such a great tweet about
Yes, it's Crush 40 is like Christian rock if
Sonic in an
Sonic is
alternate universe where
Jesus.
Sonic is Jesus.
Yeah.
Ah, it was so good.
Hang on, I have to give this person credit because it was brilliant.
Yeah,
Here, random underscore factor on Twitter. Crush 40 basically writes Christian rock in an alternate reality where Sonic the Hedgehog is Jesus.
yeah.
Well
Love
done,
it.
you. That was
Props.
brilliant.
And okay, so Adventure 3 may be happening, probably not. That game would be pretty expensive in the PS4, Xbox One days. But we'll see. I'd be curious about it. Because I do like Sonic the Hedgehog, but it's good. Uh, I think that leaves only two stories left, and that's Titanfall and Gametrailers.
Let's leave the sad one for last, so let's talk about Titanfall next.
Titanfall 2 is coming one earlier than expected. It's probably the big no like it's probably going to be EA's big November game. It's definitely releasing before March 2017, which doesn't say a lot, but everything about it does seem like it's going to be the big game from.
And that they're taking a huge risk with that because November is like peak video games.
Yeah.
So
And also,
Titanfall, which if memory served, like people liked it when it came out, but I think it died out pretty quick. Just because it's trying to be slightly more. It's trying to be slightly different Call of Duty in an era in a time that Call of Duty still exists.
yeah.
Especially considering Black Ops 3 ended up being so good. I've heard. I know.
I hear mixed things
I hear
about that.
mixed things, but people whose opinion I generally agree with really like Black Ops 3. So yeah, it's a risk, but I think that at the same, I want to believe that they kind of learned from the first one, especially because it's including an actual single player mode this time.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into it some more. That there's going to be a single player mode. It's interesting because Titanfall was going to be this huge thing, and we have to definitely get into some of the history behind Call of Duty and Infinity Ward. Is basically that after Modern Warfare 2, Jason West and Vince Impella left Infinity Ward after, or I think Activision almost fired them or something like that. It was a huge mess back in 2009 and 10, and they basically started their own thing with Respawn and took a lot of the Infinity Ward team with them as well. And they're sort of that reason that Infinity Ward they used to be the top dog with Call of Duty because they did the Modern Warfare games, and those were of course Modern Warfare 1 and 2 are hugely praised,
Absolutely,
and
rightfully
then
so, in my
yeah, and
opinion.
afterwards they did Modern Warfare 3, which was all right, and then they did Ghosts.
And nobody liked Ghosts because it was
Ghost is like
rubbish.
Ghost is the one people say, okay, this is like legitimate, and they're like it's weird that they're now the black sheep of the Call of Duty family next to Sledgehammer and Treyarch.
Like the people I follow generally like Treyarch the best.
Yeah,
Although I didn't hear that many good things about Advanced Warfare. Like I heard the campaign was pretty neat, but the multiplayer wasn't that good.
yeah, but yeah, basically people say, oh, that's because the talented people went to Respawn now, which is the company that made Titanfall. And of course, Titanfall was going to be the killer app for Xbox One when it would come out, and then it just like people definitely got it when it first came out, but it didn't really create a big community behind it. At least that's how I feel about it. That just didn't really happen.
You know, I think I was talking. I said this before. It was just like people really liked it when it came out, just because like it looks really cool. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah,
Titanfall as a game
absolutely.
looks friggin' rad, but like for whatever reason, it just doesn't have the longevity. It just didn't have the longevity to compete with the likes of Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Mostly just because it tried to be Call of Duty with a twist, and people are already playing Call of Duty, so I guess it's kind of like trying to beat WoW by being WoW but slightly different, you know?
yeah. But then, of course, that one, Titanfall has the mechs.
Yeah,
But we shall see. Like, I'm not like. What do you think of the inclusion of a single player campaign? Because that was one of the big things. Because that was big when Titanfall came out. Like, does not have a single player campaign. It sort of has this integrated multiplayer campaign thing, and which is kind of weird. But
yeah. See, the thing with like multiplayer games, multiplayer only games have been around for a long time. Like,
yeah, but
uh,
this was the big one for console.
yeah, I'm like uh, I don't know why the first one I think of is Turok Rage Wars, but that's the one. That was like N64. There's like Unreal Tournament. I think probably one of the Quakes as well was multiplayer only. So
It's been a thing on PC for a long time.
yeah, but this is like the I think the first big one for consoles just because the online infrastructure can finally support it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they tried it before with Massive Action Game.
Oh yeah, Mag that existed. That
I
one
never
yeah,
played that because it was PS3 exclusive, I think. It looked pretty neat, I guess, but like multiplayer only games are becoming more of a thing nowadays.
yeah.
Like the new Battlefront, Titanfall, Evolve,
The Rainbow Six
Rainbow Six
Siege.
Siege, yeah. Tom Clancy's The Division,
Is that
which
multiplayer only or
yeah,
is that?
man, it's an MMO.
Yeah. Okay, I figured.
It's an RPG. Oh, Destiny, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, like you can play Destiny single player, but you're kind of missing the point of it, I guess. It does have a story, but it's basically an MMO, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Um uh the inclusion of a single player, I don't know. It really depends on if the single player can be a good introduction to the multiplayer because other games that are ostensibly multiplayer only, like Battlefront 2, actually, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old one, was basically multiplayer only. I mean, it had a campaign, but the campaign was bot matches with cutscenes,
Yeah. But
and it was fundamentally not that different from the multiplayer game.
I think they did like a video like I think Unseen 64 maybe did something about that they have to make a campaign really quickly for Battlefront 2.
Okay, well, it worked. I mean, I liked the campaign of Battlefront 2, and if nothing else, it gives the sense of progression just because there is a semblance of a story, but it also just prepares you for the multiplayer, and I think if the Titanfall campaign can do that and not be the campaign of like Battlefield 3, which didn't represent the multiplayer game in the slightest, I think it'll do okay.
Yeah. We'll see. Right now, I'm curious about what they're doing with Titanfall 2, but it's not necessarily a genre that speaks to me. But we shall see what they do.
I was expecting them to wait a while with Titanfall 2, but I guess the fact that Titanfall did die out so quickly maybe pushed them to release the sequel a bit sooner.
It's been let's see, Titanfall was 2014. 2000,
It was like early 2014, I think.
yeah, that sounds about right. So it would make sense that they would continue, you know, at around this time, especially now that it's been almost that it would be 2.5 years or so when the first Titanfall came out, and that they obviously want to further pursue this IP. It just maybe needs to find its legs a bit before it becomes the huge franchise it obviously wants to be, and has potential to be as well. Let's be fair with that.
I mean, didn't they do like Mega Blocks or something?
That's a real indication of big franchise Mega Blocks. Yeah, but
I
yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, they did something
They did Mega Blocks. I'm pretty sure they did.
cuz like Call of Duty also does stuff like that.
Call of Duty does Mega Blocks. Halo does Mega Blocks. I think Assassin's Creed does Mega Blocks.
Yeah, Titanfall did Mega Blocks and honestly they looked pretty rad. No, 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 no. Titanfall did Connects.
Oh, okay.
That was the one. That was different.
That makes sense.
And they look badass. I actually kind of wanted to get some of them, but I never found any just in shops and stuff.
Okay. Well, that's more timeful discussion than I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah,
Yeah, moving on to the elephant in the room and the sad news.
yeah.
Yeah, game trailers. I think by now you probably know what happened. If you don't, game trailers very suddenly closed down. They announced it over on Twitter that first Brandon Jones, who's the founder and CEO of the game trailers, said that this would be the last day of game trailers. And at that point, I sort of, interpreted it as okay, he's leaving game trailers. Okay, that's a pretty big deal considering that he founded the site and he is the voice behind it all. So that's not something you just quickly forget and miss.
Imagine his surprise when it turned out that that was literally the last day that Game Trailers as a website would exist.
Yeah, basically that's what happened. Is that shortly thereafter the site itself announced that they would be going away. That game trailers would close down and all its staff let go. And apparently, according to Ben Moore, who worked there, they only found out a couple of hours before the announcement, which is super shitty, I might add. That
I think
is,
something similar like that happened to Joystick as well, where like there was like announcements of their of Joystick closing down, and everyone who worked there was like, "What? No!"
yeah,
And then it turned out, and then later it did actually close down, and I think they didn't find out until like very soon before it actually happened. So
yeah. I think it's not like joystick. Is it still the whole Engadget, still a part of Engadget, or is it fully Engadget now?
Joystick as a website doesn't exist anymore.
No, but I know that, but that they were merged with Engadget, and that they were for the longest time it was Engadget slash joystick or something like that.
I think Engadget is just its own thing. Because like I know definitely everyone from Joystick I think moved on to other things. Like I know Susan Arendt, who was I think editor in chief of I think she
Okay.
works for I can't remember now. I was
Uh,
just about to say it, and it's just like Games Radar Plus. She's managing editor of Games Radar Plus now.
okay. Yeah, I just checked. It's fully Engadget now. But I never really went to joystick, so I didn't really have that
I like
personal passion.
Joystick,
It sucked for them, absolutely. But
definitely.
um, yeah, of course, the big thing was, but game trailers. That is definitely a site that had a lot of effect on me because you hear about like one site closure at least a year, like in a year. Like we had one up that went away. We had, of course, EGM, computer and video games, joystick. But this one definitely hit me in the sense that Game Trailers was very pivotal to the way that I discovered this huge community of gamers that exists.
See, here's the thing with Game Trailers. Like, I don't know if people often remember this, but for a while, Game Trailers was the place to be. Like, that's where you went to get your video game related content. That's where
Yeah,
AVGN really got big. That's where Hey Ash, What You Playin' really started out before they went
for
to
ScrewTech
Destructoid.
found its audience.
Exactly. So Game Trailers got bought out by Defy Media, and
Yeah.
that's really when it sort of really started going downhill because the staff got cut down.
Oh yeah, they got gutted.
The fact that they couldn't get rid of their terrible video player didn't exactly help them.
Yeah.
But it's still weird to lose a legitimately big part of games journalism legacy. You know, like
Yeah.
of course Joystick and One Up were tragedy, and I hate to see people lose their jobs like that. But there's something special about game trailers
It's
that
like if IGN were suddenly close down in a
yeah, or
sense.
GameSpot, you know.
Yeah. But game trailers like it revolutionized especially like video content that for the longest time was the place to be. YouTube was very much in its diapers and it like it's the shows that they created, especially like there's obviously the stuff that they gave platforms to, like Screw Attack, which is how I found them. I found them through Gametrailers, the Angry Video Game Nerds. But they did some good stuff. Like their top 10 lists were really good. GT retrospectives, if you want to know stuff about Metal Gear Solid, about Castlevania, about Final Fantasy, like their Final Fantasy retrospective is 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
It is really good and really detailed. There's Timeline, which only has 2 episodes, but those are very, very, very well made. About sort of chronologically making sense of the timeline of Legend of Zelda and Kingdom Hearts.
Oh boy.
Go watch them if you're interested. Though they're beautiful. They're very, very well made. Let me think. Pop Fiction, fun take on the MythBusters formula, but with video games. And yeah, of course, after so much was let go and their budget was slashed by Defy Media, they got the likes of they mostly focus on more personality driven content, kind of like with the Kyle Bossman and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But
God, Defy Media just ruins so many things. Like
that's it.
they bought The Escapist, which
Yeah, they
is
bought
a
the Escapist,
pity.
and it hasn't been really the same since. Mostly because a lot of the people that I went to see Escapist for have long since left, except for Yahtzee.
Like I'm looking at what they own, and it's just like, really? Wow, ouch. They own The Escapist. They own Smosh. They own Clever, Gamefront. I don't know how to say this. AWEB.
They own
The
Screen Junkies as well.
Yeah, Screen Junkies. Damn You Autocorrect, Crushable, and a bunch of other ones that I don't recognize.
They own a lot of stuff, and it's like some stuff gets treated better than others. Screen Junkie seems to be doing fine. Smosh seems to be, that's one of the biggest YouTube channels still. But yeah, for the rest, Defy Media doesn't really. It's sad how they treated Gametrailers like this, and I hope that the staff lands on their feet.
I hope that The
Especially,
Escapist isn't next.
I hope that the site remains on there because Gametrailers is known for its ridiculous amount of archival. Like you can still watch like trailers from 2003 or so.
Wow.
Like all that content's still there. The site is still up. It's still there, but I'm not sure for how long. So if there's content you still want to keep with you, it's probably a good idea to archive right now.
Yeah. Does Gametrailers have a YouTube channel or something?
They do. They do actually have a YouTube channel, but
So that'll
not all their
probably
content is on there.
that's a pity.
Like some of their older stuff isn't on there, I believe. So you may want to go and like if there's a GT countdown that you really like, chances are it's already on YouTube, done by someone else. But still, you better safe than sorry and get it archived.
The last activity on the YouTube channel was 2 days ago.
Yeah, the whole staff has been let go, so there probably won't be any updates on that thing unless Defy decides to reboot it, which would be super shitty.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, that's a bit of sad news, and especially like just personally, you see, like, there's been such an outpouring for support, especially since for like I was surprised how many people were in the same situation as me, and not just G1s necessarily, because I think for the lot of pre-death battle G1s, Gametrailers was the site where we found Screw Attack, but also just people like content creators like Peanut Butter Gamer, Pro Jared, Completionist, who were all like that. Gametrailers was one of the first time they actually got to start somewhere that they were featured somewhere. Like, hey, look at this guy. What they're doing is pretty good. And it's sad to see that all just die, not necessarily so sudden, but at the same time as like it is so super sudden because it was.
I mean, the writing was on the wall for Gametrailers for a while.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't like any announcements or anything, but it was kind of obvious.
yeah,
Um, but like, I mean, the fact that the news was
Sudden.
broke so suddenly, not only to us, the public, but also to its employees. That's just they honestly should have done it better.
Yeah. They should have at least given some sort of warning to the people. But yeah. Um. Yeah. There's no good way to segue to the next thing, but we might as well.
Adios, Gametrailers.
Yeah. Adios.
You were
Uh.
wonderful.
Yes. Definitely. Um. There's more games coming up. We haven't we've been gone for a while, but we're gonna go through the games that are coming out between February 16th and February 19th. That may seem like a short window, but there's some good stuff here and there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're just going through it chronologically and through what Wikipedia the games 2016 says. But first up is Layers of Fear. What is this?
I didn't actually know this before we started preparing for this episode. So
Neither did I. It was released back in August of 2015
on early access, Steam
on
early
early
access.
access, and now it is coming out on now it's coming out of early access on the 16th, and it's also coming to PS4 and Xbox One as well.
Nice.
If you like PT,
Which, if you like horror games, you should.
Yeah, you might want to check it out. That's all we'll really say on it, but people seem to really dig it when it's out of its early access. That people found it genuinely surprising, very scary. So, yeah, go check it out if you're interested in some spooky, scary video games. Which there haven't been a lot of new horror games out yet this year. So,
well, this year also hasn't.
It's
a
very
lot
early.
hasn't happened this year yet.
Yeah, you could count FNAF World as a horror game, I guess. Looking at
yeah,
another game. There's also a expansion slash sequel slash new part of Pillars of Eternity, which is Obsidian's classic RPG.
The White March Part 2.
Yes, I haven't played Pillars of Eternity yet. I should probably get to that now that I have a PC that can run it properly.
If you like it's a very very like classic old fashioned.
It's very old
like,
school. I know that.
Yeah, like Planescape Torment kind of deal.
Yeah. Then there's a very Japanese game coming to 3DS, which big surprise there. But the crossover between Capcom, Sega, and Namco is still going on with Project Crosszone 2.
Wasn't there a Street Fighter X Tekken game that was supposed to be coming out? There was like Street Fighter X Tekken, and then there was Tekken X Street Fighter.
Yeah, Tekken X Street Fighter never came out, and I don't think Namco ever officially canceled it.
It's just sort of
something is definitely up with that because
it exists. Oh my god!
Because Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out a long time ago.
I'm looking at the cast list for Project Crosszone 2.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like, let's see, Capcom. We got like X and Zero from Mega Man.
Yeah.
You got your Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, Dante and Virgil from Devil May Cry, Jin Kazuma and Kazuya Mishima from Tekken, God Eater 2. Oh, that's weird. Hey, Fiora from Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I know, with the Cosmos from Xenosaga, because obviously Nintendo is helping with the game, but Xenosaga is from Namco.
And perhaps
is developing the game.
Perhaps the strangest character in the game is Phoenix Wright and Maya Fey from the Ace Attorney franchise.
I can always go for more Ace Attorney in my video games. Be it Marvel vs. Capcom, or in this case, Project Crosszone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, if you're, I think it's a strategy RPG kind of.
Yeah, I don't remember the first Project Crosszone being, super well received.
I think it it was received well enough.
I'm thinking, average, 7-ish.
It's a 70 on Metacritic.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Yeah. So if you're into that sort of thing, that's fine. But it does have to be your thing. So if you like your more
I
pure,
I think it's kind of like a niche thing where like
yeah,
if you like it, you really like it, but if you don't, you probably
won't
won't.
get it. I mean, where else are you going to find a crossover between Capcom, Namco, and Sega? That's a fun little.
Yeah,
Moving on, we've got probably the biggest release of this section. That's Street Fighter Five.
yeah. There's been a lot of hype leading up to this, and I'm not into fighting games at all,
No, neither am
with
I.
the
So that makes
exception
us
of
kind of
maybe
awkward.
Smash,
Yeah,
Smash Brothers. But like, I play that very much casually for fun.
yeah,
Although I am quite good at beating you.
yeah. It's kind of sad, but yeah, Street Fighter Five. It's going like it has a very interesting release. It's taking some inspiration from what Killer Instinct did, very much sort of releasing in seasons rather than what happened with Street Fighter 4, where they just did their usual thing with Street Fighter and just had like, oh, here's Super Street Fighter 4, here's Arcade Edition, here's Ultra Street Fighter 4, and instead of just going through it like, okay, you, here's the base game, you get like 16 characters or something like that, and we're gonna slowly but surely, add new characters following the launch, and you can buy them either with real money or with currency you get within the game. And apparently, it's done fairly, so that you're not forced to buy. You know that it's not impossible to get these games just by playing through it, because obviously Capcom still has a bit of a reputation for being very bad with DLC.
Yeah.
They seem to have slowed down definitely since a lot of the controversies came, but it's still like it's a bit worse. But since then, they changed up some of the gameplay. A lot of the characters look very different now.
Doesn't this
Like,
version have like a version of Ryu that has like a big beard?
yeah, Hot Dad Ryu.
He does not have a dad bod.
No,
He's too ripped for that.
no. There's also a costume. Like everyone was talking about the new Ryu costume, which I think is like a pre-order costume thing, so it's kind of hard to get over. But there's also one with Chun Li with her hair down. Oh my!
Hmm. A lot of salt coming out of that.
No, that is one fine lady.
Oh,
But and there's a whole bunch of gameplay tweaks added to the games, and a lot of it, like for the non-fighting game fan that I am, it's a lot of gibberish. But I'll look forward to seeing the experts playing it on Evo, because that like seeing fighting like actual fighting game experts, it's like
that
watching martial arts.
yeah, it's a thing of beauty, honestly. Competitive level fighting games are
It's just like it makes you realize just how big of a scrub you really are.
yeah.
It's like, God damn, they're moving so fast.
To succeed at a game like Street Fighter, you have to know like the frame counts of your moves and be able to cancel them and stuff.
Yeah,
Which wow, no, I am not good at that. No.
yeah, exactly.
And if you are, more power to you because my god, that is impressive. That
Yeah.
is legitimately very impressive.
So Street Fighter Five, it looks really cool. Like it almost bummed me out that I'm not enough into fighting games to really talk properly of them, because it almost feels like I'm disrespecting them. But it does look really good if you're a fan of it.
Definitely.
Kind of a shit like it's not coming to Xbox One, which is a bit disappointing for the fans over there.
Isn't it? I thought it was. Oh no,
No,
wait, it's
it's
a PC and
exclusivity deal.
PS4.
There's sort of an exclusivity deal going on there, which is a big get for Sony.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about that Tron Runner thing?
Yes, yes. Tron Runner is kind of insulting to me as a PC gamer.
Okay, a very recent PC gamer,
Yeah.
or
But, recent or not, PC gamer. Tron Runner is an early access game. It's $10. It's basically Temple Run but Tron.
okay, fair enough.
but the system requirements are bonkers.
Okay.
You need a 2.5 gig processor capable of 2.5 gigahertz or faster, which
Okay.
is I think pretty doable. Like my processor is pretty damn good and is 3.6. However, then there's the memory requirement, RAM for the layman, the which is 8 gigabytes.
That's a lot.
8 gigabytes is ridiculous. My large computer that runs current gen games quite well has 8 gigabytes of RAM. 8 gigabytes of RAM is the minimum requirement for Star Citizen.
Yeah. It seems a little ridiculous. Gotta have that neon effect, I guess.
It's the minimum requirement for friggin' Quantum Break, and that game looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then there's this tiny little piece of garbage that requires 8 gigabytes of RAM. It requires 3 gigabytes of hard drive space and 8 gigabytes of RAM. What did they do to this game? Is it just that poorly optimized? Or are they just like, you know what? Let's just go ham and then sell it for pennies.
Eh, I don't know. Maybe it's
Also,
something.
they barely give you any information on what kind of graphics card you need. It says is that you need a graphics card that's compatible with DirectX. No like video RAM requirement information.
I think something tells me they're more looking for the console people to get this, or maybe even just whenever it releases on mobile. Because let's be fair, this is very much sort of a mobile-esque game.
Yeah, it is coming out on console, so it also makes me wonder why it's on PC in early access.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't particularly care. I like the Tron franchise enough, but I mean, what they're doing to the PC port sounds like something. Sounds like it's not particularly well done, to say the least.
New.
Moving on. Then we've got another PC port, which is probably a bit easier to run, and that is Danganronpa, which was
Yes.
originally a PSP game, then ported to the Vita when it came out to the West, and now it is on PC for all you weebs.
I'm actually really looking forward to it. I know people who are super into this franchise, and it looks like something I would really enjoy. So I'm excited to finally get an opportunity to actually play it.
Yeah,
Because hang on, who? Okay, it's developed by Spike Chunsoft.
yeah, they've done a bunch of stuff. They're also they. I think what you maybe know them for is they did the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just like they did. Who did the Tales games? Because
That's
that's someone
Namco.
different, right? Yeah, okay. Because I saw some concerns that's like, if Tecmo did this bad of a port job on Tales of Symphonia, I think it was
Yeah,
on PC,
that's Namco.
people were very worried about Danganronpa. But I mean, it'll probably be fine. I mean, I can't imagine that a game like this could be too hard to fuck up.
It's probably not going to be that hard to run, especially since you have to again make the. It started out as a PS2. It started out as a PSP game.
Exactly. So, I mean, so did friggin' Tales of Symphonia.
Well, Tales of Symphonia started out as a GameCube game, but
Same era though.
yeah, but it's probably not going to be super difficult to run if it's going to
Wow,
be
it supports 1080p. Nice.
okay. So if you're looking forward to like I've played Danganronpa actually, it's fun for what it is. It's very Ace Attorney esque, and I always appreciate similar games like that.
I am super into Ace Attorney, and
It's
I
also
like this setting, and I like the premise of Danganronpa.
it's also very anime. It's super anime.
I can deal with that. I know
Yeah,
not everyone can, but
yeah. So just you've probably already seen stuff like that, so no worries. But just keep your guard up for if you think like this is getting too anime, and just that kind of that annoying kind of anime, that stereotypical kind. But for the people that finally get to play, because not everyone owns a Vita, almost no one owns a Vita.
Except for you.
Ah, yeah. But yeah, just go in and enjoy that. And finally, probably the second biggest release, or maybe biggest, depending on what you're into, is Fire Emblem Fates.
Which
Which,
I think we talked about that on the last episode.
yeah, we talked a bit about Fire Emblem Fates.
Specifically how it's not like it had some very questionable scenes of that could very easily be interpreted as quote unquote curing a lesbian,
Yeah,
which is not okay. And that's
in
been removed for the Western release. And
yeah, it's a bit of a again. There's two games coming out. There's Fire Emblem Conquest and Fire Emblem Birthright, and then there's Revelation coming as DLC if you get both of them. But yeah, by now the story's known. Like it's not super. It's pretty confusing, and there's again like a bunch of stuff removed regarding petting. I believe something like that.
I think
It's
that
almost like it's like Pokemon Amoeba with people.
yeah, and I think that last I checked, and I know it's a very confusing situation, but I think last I checked, it's still in the game, but only if you have an S rank relationship with that person.
Okay.
I think I it's a very confusing situation, so I
Yeah.
might be wrong on this.
And for the rest, it's Fire Emblem. You already kind of know if you enjoy it or not. I've been playing a bit through Awakening now, here and there, but it's kind of joined a back seat after, especially more
Unravel
Digimon.
and
But
Digimon.
yeah, I'm looking forward to Conquest. It doesn't have a confirmed Europe release date yet, which is weird.
That is weird, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a very similar situation with Fire Emblem Awakening with that, because the Europe one took forever, I believe. Let me check. Oh no, February. The North America one was in February 2013, and Europe was April, which isn't too bad, but
Yeah. So it'll probably come out pretty soon afterwards.
it'll probably come somewhere in April. It just seems weird that there's no confirmed release date yet. Probably we'll get something of that in like a future Nintendo Direct.
Probably,
But
yeah.
but for now, Fire Emblem Fates, you Americans can go and enjoy it. It looks like fun, but there's just been the whole weird, questionable content that's been in there, which just makes things a bit more. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird because Fire Emblem has never been more popular, and now it's just getting into this kind of questionable content, and not the good kind of questionable content, which makes you think, there's sort of like Spec Ops: The Line, but
There's the difference between like provocative and just straight up insulting.
yeah,
You
it
know,
just
like I think
get your
we talked about this in a previous episode where it's just like um with oh come on not DMC Dead or Alive, where it's just like, if your game is gonna be about boobs, make a game about boobs. Go ahead, fair enough. No one's gonna stop you, but like,
yeah,
don't pretend your game is about something else when it's just about boobs.
yeah,
And I mean, like DOA, as maligned as it is as a franchise, it's just like, I mean, especially DOA Extreme, the volleyball ones.
yeah.
I mean,
Still not coming to the U.S.
you can argue, yeah, it's technically about volleyball, but I mean, look at it. It's about the boobs.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that, but then you have something like curing someone's homosexuality, specifically curing it, is just like, that's just gross.
yeah,
It's the implication that there's something wrong with homosexuality, which of course there isn't. Let's be honest,
exactly.
there is not. anything wrong with that. And it's just, it raises the question of why they put it in the game in the first place. I obviously can't speak for. I have no knowledge of what Japan's culture of sexuality is like. My instinct says probably not that great. You know, I have nothing concrete to base this on, but I I kind of want to say that it's probably not all that great. So that's probably why it was put into the game. Not
Yeah,
necessarily as like a this is what we think is right, but more along the lines of like why would anyone think this is wrong? You know,
yeah,
there's a slight difference there. So it being removed from the Western release, I can totally see that because that is just not okay.
exactly. Good on Nintendo for at least sort of removing it, not necessarily, or at least changing it to be more culturally appropriate to what is acceptable here in the West, but also, of course, what were you thinking of putting it there in the first place? And that's more probably to do with the writers, and I'm not sure like how hands on Nintendo is with that because there's also, of course, the Magypsies and Mother 3 who are very sort of flamboyant.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that. I've never played Mother 3, but a
I mean,
lot
there's
of stuff like this is a very questionable history, you know?
yeah, but yeah, I think with that nugget, I think that's about it. We unfortunately didn't have any questions today,
It's
and
also kind
that's
of our fault because we didn't send out the tweet until after we started recording.
yeah, exactly. It's our fault, and
We started
we
recording a little earlier than usual.
yeah. So with yeah, mostly because I'm gonna see Deadpool soon. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
I don't have any concrete plans to see it, but I really want to.
I
So
really want to, especially now that the reviews are good. I'm just like, yes.
no spoilers, please.
I won't spoil it. That's not cool.
I have it on good authority that it is very, very good,
Yeah.
and that's all I know.
Yes. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end. I am. You can follow me at the Madhero on Twitter, and of course, go follow G1 Features. We've got some cool stuff planned, including the Pokemon project, which should be coming next, hopefully by the end of next week. If not, then after that. And also some stuff related to the G1 interviews. There's something really cool brewing that has been sort of talked about, but I won't go into much detail yet because it's very, very cool. And Tom, the Iron Man, wants to keep it a surprise.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's all the stuff that's going on there. You can just go subscribe to G1 Features and find everything there. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at gear12_turbo, and now that I have a new great computer, I'm venturing into the world of streaming, so you can find me on Twitch at gear12,
Awesome.
twitch.tv/gear12. And I'll put like a tweet out whenever I start. I did a test stream yesterday with Blazing Angel Squadrons of World War II, but that was apparently a terrible choice because the game crashed. So,
Wah, wah.
but that's okay because no one was watching anyway. So,
Okay. So go watch that if you're interested. And with that, we bid you adieu.
goodbye.